So this is Birch Creek, and this right here is actually the unit that we lived in.
Meet Shukri Olow, a mother of two, a PhD student, and a candidate for King County Council District 5, which covers the cities of Kent, SeaTac, Tukwila, Burien, Normandy, Des Moines, and Renton. Shukri was born in Mogadishu, Somalia in the late 80s. A civil war broke out in her country when she was 3 years old. But the war could not have come at a worse time. Just 3 months earlier, her father was deceased. And with violence everywhere, her mother Amina, with 3 young children, did not know where to go.
markii la qaxayay yaan waxna qaxiyaan weynay dadkan waa kala cararayeen anoo iska walwalaaya oo maaragtay oo aadna u cabsanaya.
Fortunately, they found people who helped them out of the city and head for neighboring Kenya to seek refuge.
dad qaxayo islaam ah baan iska helnay ilaahay baa maaragtay nabad keenay.
They eventually made it to the refugee camps in Mombasa.
waxaan soo galnay wadanka Kenya meeshaas oo aad iyo aad u dhibaato badan oo ummadii ay iskaga badatay dadkiina aad ay u dhamaadeen.
Living in very harsh conditions in the camps, and with no father to support, Shukri had to grow fast, helping her mother with the day-to-day activities while taking care of her younger siblings.
waxay qof oo aad iyo aad active ah oo caawisa ma sha Allah inuu yar bay ahayd qaxootigu waa iska dhibadan yahay marka aroortii bay dheelman ayadoo yar markaas maanta dhan bay biyo soo dhaamin maanta dhan bay biyo soo dhaamin weelasha iga dhaqan ayadoo yar bay caawisay marka ayadoo yar bay caawisay waxaan Ilaahay ka bariyay aan markaan tukado in oo nolol meel inaan Ilaahay inaan u helo meel maaragtay ilmahayga ku noolaadaan ama oo ay wax igu bartaan.
Amina's prayers were answered. After several years, the family came to the U.S. when Shukri was about 9 years old. Resetting in Washington after briefly living in Texas. It is this public housing neighborhood in South King County, in the city of Kent, where Shukri spent most of her childhood.
So this is Birch Creek, and this right here is actually the unit that we lived in. My mother and my 2 other siblings and I, and we had a little garden right here. I think this is actually new. Behind these units is a park, and we would play basketball in the park, and then we'd come back and talk and play together right here in this space. This is the youth center. Back in the day, we used to call it the rec hall, and this is the space that many of us young people would come to after a long day of school, and we would come here, get some snacks, talk to some adults about our day, about our struggles, and they would hear us. And sometimes we'd also do our homework, though not as often as our teachers would have liked. And other days there'd be students playing basketball, having fun, getting to know each other, playing some little games. But most importantly, this is the space that we felt safe, right? And this wonderful community, we had somewhere to go where we felt like we could be home and feel protected and wanted, right? And so I come back to this space often. There's a gym inside of it. Upstairs, there's some rooms. There's a computer lab, and I come to this space often because of this organization called Kent Youth and Family Services. This organization has been instrumental in my life and continues to be instrumental in the lives of many people.
The memories and lessons she learned from this neighborhood were instrumental in her career path, helping immigrants and refugee families.
I think that experience was instrumental in the type of career that I chose, working and seeing many immigrants and refugees, experiencing poverty, but also, connecting with their neighbors and building a sense of community and supporting each other and making sure that everyone in that neighborhood felt like they belonged.
With now a family of her own, she spoke about the challenges of being a mother and a doctoral candidate during a global pandemic.
A mother of 2 young people, an 8-year-old boy, and a daughter who is turning 11 on December 30th. This has been a really strange year. Our children certainly have felt it. And because of this pandemic of COVID, they are restless, right? They are wondering, when is this going to be over? Because their life right now is remote learning and trying to figure out what to do after. Sometimes we go on evening walks after school. Some days we hike, but given that it's December and COVID is actually increasing in our region and actually in our nation, we are staying home for the winter months and trying to keep them safe and keep all of our families safe, really. And so it's been a really difficult time, I think, as a parent to try to figure out how to engage them in their learning and at the same time how to support their mental health, right, and their well-being. As I'm trying to work and at the same time, as a doctoral student myself, as a candidate myself, trying to do my own studies as well. So it's been a lot to manage, I'm sure, for a lot of families in our community, but I think we are stronger together and I think we will get through this together.
Shukri is now running for King County Council District 5, but did she have any aspiration of going into politics?
Politics has been a heart feeling for a long time. I've thought about running for a period of 5 years. I supported candidates in running for office here in the 47th and several local candidates when they ran for school boards or city council positions. And I've done all the political training programs, or a good number of them, like the Institute for Democratic Futures, known as IDEF, or Emerge, which is another training program for women who are running for office or thinking about running for office. And it's always been sort of a heart feeling for me to explore running for office, and especially seeing the slate of candidates this year from 2020, incredible women, Black women who ran and were elected by their community. And so I've been able to kind of take that heart feeling and think about ways to be more intentional and action-oriented. And then I made the decision last year, November of last year, to start planning to run for office.
She also spoke about why she decided to run for King County Council District 5 and why she thinks she is the right candidate.
I grew up in this community and I've seen the incredible change that has happened in this community. I've seen people who used to live in this community who can no longer afford to live here. I've seen the direction that many of the systems have taken and how that has a disproportionate impact on the young people of our community. And I've also seen this lack of representation of people who look like you and I, of people who look like the people who live in District 5 in powerful positions. And so when I made the decision last year to start intentionally planning about a year ago to run for office, it was with the goal of being that reflection and not only being a person of color in a powerful position, but also making sure that our community feels like they have the space to push policies that directly impact them and could positively change their lives. I am the right candidate for this position because I am someone who grew up here in South King County. I have worked with our communities for the last 14 years, helping them get access to resources. I also have not just an intellectual understanding of the challenges that people face, but also that lived experience. You know, I grew up in poverty. I grew up in public housing. I grew up with a single mother trying to make ends meet. And I think that lived experience of navigating the various systems within our community is critical. We need policymakers who understand their communities because they lived it too.
Her peers and those who've worked with her echoed the same sentiment, a testimony of passion and dedication she brings to her community. Final message to the people of District 5.
You know, friends, I think a lot about the values of our nation, right? I am a refugee from Somalia, came to this country really young, grew up here in this community, went to schools here in this community. And for someone like myself who cares deeply about this community to be able to be in this position today, I think just tells a lot about the story of our America, right? That all of us, that you and I can dream and dare to serve our community in this way. And so I would be honored to have your support, and I cannot wait to win and to amplify our voices together come August of 2021. Thank you.